This is one of the coolest, most custom guitars I've ever done. It's also the first Harley Davidson themed guitar I've ever done, and one of the guitars I'm most proud of. Oh yeah, and it's a Wolfgang. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and definitely hit the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. This is Trash to Thrash. For more than 20 years, I've been obsessed with guitars. From playing them, to working on them, to buying and collecting them, I've built quite the collection of awesome custom guitars. Now, I'm turning my passion into a profession by seeking out old, beat-up guitars and giving them new life, all while trying to make a profit. I'll be searching everywhere for used gear that I can refret, rewire, repaint, whatever it takes to make it a real shredder. This is Trash to Thrash. Hello everybody, welcome back to Trash to Thrash. I'm your host Mark Murray, and today you're in for a treat. The guitar we're rebuilding on today's show is so unique and interesting, not only because it's the first Harley Davidson themed guitar build we've done, but because I'm doing it for my customer Michael, who had me refinish and modify this guitar just so he could gift it to his best friend Jason as a Christmas present. Michael contacted me after seeing the show because he knew he wanted to have me do some work for him. He came up with a killer concept, but it was something completely different than anything I had ever done before. He even gave me a mock-up of what he had in mind for the guitar, so we met up locally for the guitar handoff. The guitar is an EVH Wolfgang standard. This is how it arrived to me. These EVH Wolfgangs are excellent guitars, and Michael wanted to modify it to match his best friend Jason's Harley Davidson motorcycle. From the paint scheme, which is a pearlized gray color, to the hardware choices and even some other small details, this was a concept that was truly one of a kind. Michael and Jason have been good friends since they met in high school through Jason's brother Jonathan, who Michael was friends with. The three of them went to Santa Monica College in Southern California before Jason and his brother joined the U.S. military. Over the years, Jason and Michael ended up being close friends, especially over the last decade or so. The plan for this guitar will be to strip it down, sand it, and spray it black. I'll make a stencil of the Harley Davidson logo, apply that to the body, and then refinish it with the exact color of Jason's bike, stone-washed white pearl. Next comes the wiring, which will be keeping the stock pickups and wiring, but will ditch the tone knob and add a custom Tesi kill switch with a gold bezel surrounding a black button. Jason's bike has a mix of gold, black, and stainless hardware, so we'll be adding a set of gold pickup rings to mount the pickups, plus stainless and titanium FU tone upgrades to the Floyd Rose and a gold EVH D-Tuna. There are a few other really cool details we'll be copying from Jason's bike along the way as well. Right now, it's just a regular EVH Wolfgang standard, but now it's time to tear it apart, get it sanded, and then bring it into the spray booth to lay down a base coat of black. But the black is just the beginning, because we're going to be laying this on the guitar as a stencil, and then spraying it with the custom Harley color. So it's kind of like a grayish white color. And it was actually tricky to find this color. You know, there's a lot of different shades of gray out there, and these are the first couple samples I had put together for him. And we have Navajo white, we have winter gray, solstice blue, and the middle is actually a primer color. And they were all somewhat similar, but none of them were a dead match. What we ended up going with was this here, and I think it's made by Color Right. But what this is, and it's really interesting, this is like a 2-can paint job. Basically, it's a base color, which is the gray color that matches the bike. The second color that goes over is a clear pearl. It's like one of the smoothest paints I've ever felt. This stuff was $50 a can for the base, and then $50 for the pearl is $100 for the two colors. But they came in an 11-ounce can, which is a decent sized aerosol can. But it went on so smooth and so nice. So I'm really hoping that it's going to lay on the guitar the exact same way. I'm almost a little nervous to do this one because the paint's so expensive and we got the stencil here, and if it doesn't go well, it's a lot to redo. It's a lot of money down the drain for that paint. So got my fingers crossed that this one goes well. So this is about how it's going to lay on. I want to get this point here and this point here both on the face of the guitar. This is going to wrap around the side just a little bit here. So it's going to look something like that. I'm going to be doing this really carefully. So I got some brand new gloves I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using transfer tape that I'll lay over this entire stencil here. Then we're going to pull the transfer tape up with the stencil on it, removing the back of the stencil, and then we're going to apply it over the guitar that way. I'll also be wiping the guitar down with a mixture of alcohol and water just to make sure this is going to adhere as good as possible and be a real clean environment for the paint to go on. As we peel it back, it's all coming off nicely. And now we'll transfer that over to the body. A little tricky. And bring it down this way. So that all lays flat. Then we'll bring it across here. That's laying nice and flat. Okay, it's all on there. This looks like it's on pretty good. There's a couple bubbles here in the middle, but that's not going to affect. Really, the edges are all the important part. So I'm going to push it down a little bit more around the whole guitar, and then we're going to, like I said, bring it outside, tack cloth it out there, hit it with the air, remove any last dust particles. And it's time to start shooting. I told you guys we're working with Color Right paint, so this is the two different paints. This one is the stone washed white pearl. And then this is the base grayish color. So this one's almost like a clear with pearl in it. And we're going to do this. We're going to do probably 3 coats, I'm thinking, because once you put on a pearl paint job like this with a stencil, you can't come back and touch it up really. You can dab little spots, but it's not going to touch up well. So might go with 4 coats. We have to save a little bit for the headstock because we're going to do a matched headstock on this guitar. Alright guys, in the spray booth right behind me, I just finished spraying the 3rd coat on that Wolfgang. And it's looking good, so let's go in there, let's check it out. I'd say it's ready for the pearl in about 10 minutes or so. We gotta let it finish drying, but that looks nice. There's still quite a bit of paint left in here, so if I need to do any light touch-up spots, or when I go to paint the headstock, we're gonna still have some paint left, but covered great, Color Right. If you're looking for some good quality paint, these guys really do make some good stuff. Here, we got the pearl, so we'll throw the pearl over. Alright, I just brought the guitar back in and it looks great. The paint covered super good. I did 3 coats of the base coat color and then 3 coats with the pearl. And tomorrow I will remove the vinyl. But you can see some bubbling here. That's actually in the vinyl. The vinyl stripe is right here, so that's not on the paint. I think this is going to look really good. I can't wait to see this thing. Alright, I'm a little nervous. Let's see how this looks. There we go. You can see, looks great. There's a couple real small spots where the gray kind of bled under the tape a little bit. So I'll touch up the black, but it looks like the gray should be fine. I don't need to do any touch up with the gray. So that's what I was a little scared to do, but wow, look at that. I know Michael's gonna love it. I know his friend's gonna love it. This is just sick. After letting the paint cure for about 2 weeks, I feel safe putting tape on the surface of it and masking it off so I can do some touch-up. There were a couple real small spots where the stencil lifted and the gray paint got on the black, so I masked them off and then hit them with a real small paintbrush. The stencil on the body looks awesome, so now we'll be doing a custom headstock logo too. This one will be a black logo that has Jason's nickname on it, Jaybird. Michael designed the logo and thought a gold shadow would look good behind the black headstock logo, and he was right. It looks awesome. Now the guitar was ready to go back to the spray booth and get some clear. The guitar ended up getting about 18 coats of clear, but I don't do them all at once. I spray a light even coat, and I let that dry for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then I repeat that about 5 times. That'll be about a full can of Spray Max 2K polyurethane that I used. Then I'll let that cure for about 2 weeks. I'll sand it with 600 grit sandpaper, and I'll repeat that whole process 2 more times. So we'll get 3 full cans of clear on this guitar with a bunch of sanding in between. And it shows in the results. After sanding and buffing, this thing is gonna look wild. Now it's been a few weeks since I've sprayed any clear on this guitar, and I feel confident moving forward. I didn't want to have to redo anything, so I wanted to let this one cure extra long. I've sanded and buffed the headstock and it turned out gorgeous, so now it's time to do some assembly, throwing the tuners and the locking nut in there. I spent a few hours sanding the body and the headstock with 600 grit sandpaper to level it, and then 800 and 1200 grit sandpaper to smooth out the scratches. You can see how beautiful the headstock turned out, but to get that kind of mirror-like reflection, it takes a lot of work. Hours of sanding and buffing. Using my Stu Mac buffing wheels, I've cut that time down by many hours though. I absolutely love this thing. Out of everything in my workshop, I'd say this is the #1 thing I have to increase my efficiency and get better results at the same time. I love this thing. I mean, look at the shine on this guitar. Trying to buff this thing by hand would have been insane. It would have taken many hours, and with an electric buffer like that, it was just a couple hours. And this is why I put so much clear coat on it in the first place, because to get it nice and level, you need to remove a lot of the clear by sanding and then polishing it up. So this thing just turned out awesome. Such a deep, rich gloss. Now we're ready to start installing some parts into this body. And we'll start here with the Floyd Rose. This is a standard Floyd Rose special that comes on the EVH standard Wolfgangs. They're cool because they're branded EVH, but we're going to add some FU tone upgrades to this thing. FU Tone makes all kinds of really cool Floyd Rose upgrades, including what you see here, stainless steel screws for the saddles and the blocks, and even up at the locking nut. We'll also be installing titanium blocks and a gold EVH detuner so we can go from standard tuning to drop D in an instant. FU Tone upgrades are really easy to do too because you just unbolt the old parts and attach the new ones. Couldn't get much simpler. Check out FU Tone's full catalog on their website at fu-tone.com. I'll link that in the description of this video. Now check this thing out. It looks awesome, looks way cooler, definitely looks like it has a bunch of upgrades on it, but also it has increased tone and sustain now because it has better hardware holding all these parts together. And all these different hardware colors are going to tie in to make it match Jason's bike even better since he has mixed hardware on his bike. As I'm starting to assemble the guitar, I ran into a little bit of an obstacle. Michael wanted to put gold pickup rings on this guitar, and Wolfgangs don't normally have pickup rings on them, and they have rounded feet on the pickups, meaning the holes in the guitar that hold the pickups are also rounded. When I laid the rings into place and drilled the holes, you could still see a couple spots of the body coming through the inside of the rings, and it didn't look so good, so it needed a little bit of modification. It wasn't a lot though, so I used the Dremel for this. It's just another one of those little things that you might not think about when you're planning out your build, and you go to put everything together, and there's a bunch of little things you have to do to make it all work together. Check out this custom kill switch we got from Tesi for this guitar. When Michael and I were planning this guitar, he asked me if I could reach out to them and see if we can get a custom-made kill switch, gold bezel with a black button. I didn't think they'd be able to pull this off. I've never seen custom kill switches like this, but Rob over at Tesi Switch made it happen. Go check out tesiswitch.com. That's their website. They have all kinds of different kill switches on there, including the clear red EVH ones, the black stealths, and the standard kill switches with or without LEDs. Thanks so much to Tesi for sponsoring this episode of Trash to Thrash. Before I start wiring it up, I decided to do a test fit for the control and the tremolo cavity covers. After spraying a ton of clear on this guitar and pulling the tape, the cavities need a little bit of cleaning up. The covers aren't going to fit because there's so much clear, so we'll do a little bit of scraping inside here to get these smooth, then we'll sand the covers just a little bit so that they'll fit back inside there. If you look at this photo of the bike here, you can see there's a backwards American flag on the bike. Michael wanted to incorporate this onto the rear tremolo cavity cover. So I made a flag with my vinyl cutter, stuck it on here, and sprayed it with some satin clear. That turned out really cool. Look at that clean wiring job. I laid down copper shielding inside the electrical cavities, and we reused most of the original wiring from the stock Wolfgang. Now the guitar is ready to string up, set up, and intonate. This little gold colored piece mounted down here against the block is to stabilize the bridge. Not many people talk about this, but when you use a detuner, you need to install one of these, which will prevent your Floyd Rose from lifting backwards. So you'll only be able to lower the pitch, not raise it. Another cool feature of this build that Michael thought to do was to put a Harley Davidson stencil on the case of the guitar and have me spray it on there. The neon green you see here is actually just a test stencil, but here it is after being sprayed on. That was a really cool touch. Now, are you guys ready for the reveal? Check this thing out. I think this thing turned out so awesome. Look at that decked out Floyd Rose with the EVH detuner that matches the pickup rings. The gloss on this guitar turned out amazing. That custom kill switch from Tesi with the gold bezel and the black button. This guitar definitely exceeded my expectations. This was one of those builds that had a million little details that all of them add up to make such an amazing, cool guitar. Michael knocked it out of his park with the concept for this guitar, and I'm glad I could help make it happen. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to Rob over at Tesi Switch and Adam over at FU Tone for helping make this guitar a reality. Now, another really cool thing that happened was Michael filmed Jason opening this guitar up. So let's watch that right now.
Whoa! Sick, dude. Nice, man. This is a shotgun? Oh, shit. What the hell?
It's the same.
That's for me?
Yeah, dude, it's the same color as your bike. Evelyn helped me with pictures.
No way, dude.
It has your nickname on the headstock.
That's unreal,
I put gold pieces to go with the gold stuff on your bike.
Dude.
I upgraded the bridge with titanium pieces.
This is insane, man. I don't even know how to, like...
It's got the flag just like your bike.
Oh, dude. That's cool. You way outdid yourself on this, man. I'm so stoked.
I know, I was jealous.
This is so cool, dude.
This was a year in the making. I had this idea last January.
Dude, I don't even deserve you as a friend, man. This is so cool. Dude, give me a hug, man. Thanks. Appreciate you. That's so badass.
The guitar is now in Jason's possession, and he sent us some video footage of it meeting the bike. The Colorite paint that I used on this guitar was supposed to be a perfect match to this Harley color, and boy is it. Look at that, it is dead on. That is so cool to see. Jason sent a couple of photos along of the bike and the guitar together, and Michael really nailed it with his concept for this guitar. It totally matches the bike, the colors, the hardware, everything is just a perfect match. It's so cool to see that Jason loves the guitar, and for Michael, well, let's just say we got a couple of builds in the plans right now for Michael too, so you haven't seen the last of him. Alright guys, so what'd you think of the Harley Wolf? Let me know down in the comments section. I love hearing your guys' opinions. Do you want me to rebuild or refinish a guitar for you and feature it here on the show? If so, send me an email to mark@guitarguts.com and I'll get back to you with an estimate as soon as I can and we'll get the ball rolling. If you want to win one of my creations, the only way to do it is to sign up to my Patreon page over at patreon.com/guitarguts. Of course, the link's in the description for this. It's $10 a month and you're automatically entered into all the guitar giveaways that I do. Plus, you get ad-free versions of all my videos, access to the Guitar Guts Discord page, plus extra exclusive weekly videos. You can also help support Guitar Guts by visiting guitarguts.com and buying a shirt, stickers, baby clothing, a kill switch, custom pick, pedals, or even a guitar. Right now we have a few guitars available up at guitarguts.com, including the Quilted Stealth OLP MM1 with the Guitar Guts Chrome kill switch, Goto tuners, and a Seymour Duncan JB pickup. Using ShopPay through guitarguts.com, you can get this guitar for 4 payments of $225 billed every 2 weeks, plus shipping, and it's paid off in 2 months. There's also the 1994 Jackson JSX Concept with crackle and splatter. It's blue and it's chromed out, it looks awesome, and it's ready to ship and for you to shred on right now. Using ShopPay through guitarguts.com, you can get this guitar for 4 payments of $325 plus shipping, billed every 2 weeks. And now a little update on what's sold since the last episode from the Guitar Guts shop. This Schecter Hellraiser C7 7-string that I talked about on the last episode of Trash to Thrash. It was a beautiful neck-through 7-string with EMG 707 TW pickups that can be switched into single coil mode. It had a beautiful quilted maple top and an abalone binding. Shout out and thank you to Chris for picking this one up. The 1993 Jackson King V navy blue with white crackle also sold. It was loaded with a vintage original Floyd Rose, a set of EMG 85X and 60X pickups, a Tesi kill switch with a blue LED, and now it's on its way to Andrew, its new owner. Huge shout out and thank you to Andrew for picking this one up. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button and be sure to be subscribed. Rock on, my friends. On the next episode of Trash to Thrash, I'll show you the story of the 93 Crackle King B that I rebuilt. This is a build that I, of course, thought about keeping and adding to the collection. It's just such a classic guitar with a super unique style to it. Plus, it's equipped with the GuitarGuts Essentials, EMG active pickups, an LED kill switch, and an original Floyd Rose. You know I love those Japanese Jacksons from the 1990s. Be sure to be subscribed to the channel and hit the bell to be notified when the next episode drops. If you want more Trash to Thrash, click on the pop-ups here on the screen. Check out this episode here, or check out the playlist here and go watch the first 50 episodes of Trash to Thrash.